Welcome to the Chronic Health Collective show, where we empower you to transform every area of your life. We gathered the best coaches and experts in the world to bring you weekly insights that's going to elevate your physical, your mental, and your spiritual well being. Whether you're looking to boost your energy, to heal your relationships, or live a more productive, balanced life, we're here to guide you every step of the way. And on today's episode, it's called New Year, New Us, turning resolutions into results for a healthier, happy marriage. We have special guest Samantha Kaaua, and she is a TEDx speaker, an international best-selling author, and renowned marriage coach known for her counterculture approach to relationships. As the creator of the Inner Mosaic method and the marriage mind shift process, she helps individuals rebuild self-trust and transform their marriages. Her international best-selling book, Finding Beauty in Your Broken Pieces, The Art and Science of Transforming Any Relationship, has inspired audiences around the world to heal past hurts and to create meaningful change in their relationships. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hi, I am so happy to be here. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for putting this all together. And yeah, it's nice to be here again.
It is such a wonderful time, wonderful night to see you again. Me and Mina love you to death. You always crack us up, and we're just
We have a
joking
good time.
beforehand. She's the one that always interviews you, so I get a crack at interviewing you this time
I
around.
know. This is going to be so much fun.
So we just started a new year. We're like 2 weeks into the new year, and the topic you want to talk about was turning resolutions into results for a healthier, happier marriage. And who doesn't want a happier marriage, right? It's the beginning of the year. We don't want to be yelling and cursing each other starting the year bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. We're just going to dive straight into this.
Okay.
So many couples, you know, us included, we set individual goals during the new year. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because like Minna set her goal, I set my goals. We don't always talk about our goals. We may talk about our goals together, but she doesn't know what my goal is. I don't know what her goal is. But how can personal development, how can personal development resolutions unintentionally harm a marriage?
Yeah. No, I love this question. It's so important because, like you said, many of us set these individual resolutions. We set these individual goals for ourselves. And sometimes we do set relationship goals or family goals. But a lot of the times, I have found in the years that I've been doing this work that many times personal development
Mhm.
can push people apart and create more distance than closeness in our relationships. And the reason that happens is because people, it's in our society, we believe it's been kind of ingrained in us that you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, and if your partner doesn't have similar or the same types of goals as you, personal goals, then it's a sign that you're growing apart or that you're not growing together anymore, and that maybe it's time to part ways, right? Whatever that is. So I've seen early in the year the couples that are setting resolutions.
Mhm.
One partner might have these really amazing health goals or
Right.
wealth goals or family goals, and then the other partner may not think twice about New Year's resolutions. They're like, yeah, I just want to survive this year again.
Right.
or or their New Year's resolutions, it could be as equally ambitious, but in a different direction, right? So if you're like many couples out there that have goals that are not exactly the same as your spouse, I know some couples have very similar goals, but many couples have different resolutions, then I want us to create a new normal where we don't feel like it has to mean that we're growing apart. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And it is so true what you say, because personal development is it's almost like the word that everyone's throwing around now. Everyone wants to become a better version of themselves. But it's interesting what you say, because no one, there should be a couple's development.
Right?
Right?
Relationship development.
Yeah. Like, and no one ever talks about that, because everyone are thinking about their goals, and a lot of times they're not thinking about what's that bringing in towards their partner and stuff like that. And it's funny because, like I said in the beginning, me and Minna, we set our goals. I don't know what her main goals are, like what her audacious goals are, and she probably doesn't know what mine are. But once in a while, over lunch or something, we would sit down. Hey, so what are we going to do for business this year? Right. And then we just sort of, and is this sort of what I'm thinking? And then we sort of had, oh, that's sort of a shitty idea. We have to rehash this a little bit. Right. But a lot of things, we don't think about that. You just assume that whichever one you decide, that's the direction you're going to go.
Right. Yeah. And you bring up another great point, is that if you're not intentional about sharing your personal growth plans with your partner, then it's hard for the other person to know how to best support you.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. It's so true. Yes.
Yeah. And we don't know if and I just want to bring in like a quick story.
I love it. I love stories.
Relatable. So if you follow me or have known of me before and follow me on social media, you'll see that I'm on a health journey. And I've been posting a lot of my workouts and fitness stuff. And I'm a marriage coach. So, some people are like, what are you doing? Are you going to be a fitness coach? I'm like, no. But I just wanted to share my journey. And so a little bit of a backstory on the relationship side of this journey. One of my husband's vicious thoughts, and I don't know if he'll be happy about me sharing this publicly or not, but his vicious thoughts were, before I started this journey, you're going to go find a personal trainer, a male personal trainer, and you're going to leave me for him.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I say this not to make fun of my husband, but I do think that this is a more prevalent thought out there than isn't. Like a subconscious, vicious thought of like, oh my gosh, my wife is going to go work out and get healthy and get sexy, and she's not going to love me anymore, and she's going to go leave me for someone else. Whether that's a personal trainer or not,
correct,
there's that fear. And if he didn't feel safe enough to say that out loud to me, and I wasn't in a space to be open to receiving that vulnerable moment, we wouldn't have talked about it. And he would have just sat with that vicious thought for who knows how long.
Correct.
Being worried about me stepping out of the marriage because I was getting healthier. I was getting more confident in my body. I was working on myself. Correct. But because we started sharing, we had that discussion, and I told him, okay, never in a million years would I end up leaving for a personal trainer. But that is not my intention, and it's not my goal. And I really am. And one, I wasn't looking for a male personal trainer. If anything, I wanted a female, right? Correct. Like I wanted another woman's perspective, and I was looking for a gym that didn't have a lot of men in the gym, and
Correct.
not because I was avoiding men, but because I wanted a strong community of women. And he didn't know that until we started this conversation. So I just wanted to share that kind of inside behind the scenes story that gave us both a little bit of a giggle, even though it was a real fear for him. We laughed about it when he said it out loud, because I was like, really? You really think that? He's like, no, I don't really think that's going to happen. But it was a fear. And I want everyone that's listening to be able to relate, because sometimes we have these really ridiculous, once we say it out loud, fears that can ruminate and start creating chaos in our relationships, right? So we're on this individual path of personal development, and if we're not being open with our spouse about it, can lead to all these vicious thoughts, and we can kind of create this self-fulfilling prophecy of a breakdown in our relationship. So yeah.
I love that. I'm just listening in onto this, and it's always funny because when you watch movies and these rom-coms, it's always the women suspecting the guy's going to be cheating
Right.
behind her back, right?
Right.
But I love what you said, because what you said is exactly true. Because I would have that same thought too if Minna says, "Hey, I'm gonna go work out and gonna find," and
Okay.
and it's funny because she did go to our gym, and she got a stretch coach, and the stretch
Uh-huh.
coach was a young kid, right? And that's,
Yeah.
of course, I had to go check him out, right?
Yeah.
Right? I casually say, "I'm gonna work out too,"
But you were
right?
checking
And
it.
I think, because she's, "Yeah, this guy's really good. I feel really good after the stretching." I was like, "Wow, I was like, this is a hot buff kid or what?" So I totally understand where
Yeah.
your husband's thoughts are, right? Because
Yeah.
we
No.
marry our spouses. They're very attractive to us, and we know they got to be attractive to someone else. So we're worried too. We want to keep you to
Yes.
ourselves. So
Yes.
I love that you share that perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's just a real relatable story that not a lot of people think about or want to share, but it's important that we normalize these types of thinking and the mindsets that we can go into if we don't address it, right? And we
Correct,
don't speak it out loud. Mhm.
correct. So let me ask you this, because you created the Inner Mosaic method, right?
Mhm.
And how does understanding one's inner dynamics help couples to prevent conflict during a new year using the Inner
Yeah.
Mosaic method?
That's a powerful question. So the
Okay.
Inner Mosaic method really, for those who haven't heard anything about it before,
Mhm,
it really is a model that I created from my background in marriage and family therapy, so using a lot of systemic models, and then my personal real life experience of saving my own marriage, right? Being on the
mhm,
brink of divorce. And it was a very internal journey that I went on to save my marriage. It wasn't like
mhm,
this couples work and all the things happening. It was just going inward. And so I use the Inner Mosaic model to help me, and method to help me emotionally regulate, to better understand my triggers, to show up in the way that I want to show up, that I feel good about, and allow myself to feel like I have control, let alone just dominion over my own life. And I'm not just
mhm.
being pulled in all these different directions from my feelings and by the actions of others. So I use the Inner Mosaic method to help me have this internal dialogue when I'm interacting with other people. It doesn't have to be my spouse. It could be friends, it could be
Mhm.
a boss or coworker, anyone, strangers. And it allows me to have the internal dialogue before I have the external one.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Mhm. And yeah,
And
it gives me that opportunity to have choice, right, in how I want
correct,
to show up.
correct. And when you talk about the Inner Mosaic method, is this specific only for women, or will it work for men too?
No, yeah, I really the goal for the Inner Mosaic method is for it to be a very universal household emotional regulation tool. Like
Mhm,
it wasn't designed to specifically be used only in marriages. Inner
mhm,
Mosaic is something to help you self-regulate, something for you to help work through stuck points or trigger points, and so that you can get to the other side and act in a way that you want to and show up in a way that you want to, instead of feeling lost and confused or stuck.
mhm.
It really is a process to help you break through the barriers, the subconscious mental barriers that have been holding you back, right? So yeah,
Correct,
it's
correct.
totally universal, not just for women, not just for marriages. I actually have started teaching my kids to use
Mhm.
this method so that they can, whenever they're feeling stuck, or they're in a triggered place, that they can actually understand the different parts of themselves that have shown up in that situation.
That's amazing. It's almost like self-professional development
Yes.
at another level.
Yeah.
Right? Like literally, because it's self-professional development. You're always listening to what's going on, the turmoils, because we're always fighting inside, right? So
Yes.
it's almost like listening inside to make sure you don't make an ass of yourself when you present yourself to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I love that because Minna just finished reading your book, and
Oh,
and
thanks.
she loved it. And I'll be honest, I haven't read it yet. I'm going to be picking up and reading it next. But she
Oh,
said you
thank
have to
you.
read it. You got her on the show, and I forgot I'm interviewing you, and
Yeah.
there's no way I was going to finish it in time. But yeah, she was saying it's a great method, and everyone should talk about it and learn more. And that's why I was saying, well, how can we use this to help more people with it, right? So
Yes.
thank you for sharing. So we're going to be right back after this short break. And then when we come back, we're going to dive into how to build a happier marriage from within. We'll be right back of these messages.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Have you ever felt stuck in your marriage, wondering if things will ever get better? Meet Samantha Kaaua, the marriage coach who's helping people transform their relationships in ways they never thought possible. Having saved her own marriage twice, Samantha knows the way forward. If you're ready to rebuild trust, reconnect, and create the love you deserve, visit www.thegems.com today, because the first step to transforming your marriage starts with you.
Welcome back to Chronic Health Collective. During that short break, I was trying to channel my Inner Mosaic voice, and I was just thinking about how we present ourselves, our thoughts, and how important that is when it comes to a relationship, right?
Mhm.
Because if we don't bring it up, our partner doesn't know what we're thinking about. So
Mhm.
let me ask you this, because like I at the beginning of the show, before we got on, I was telling you we've been following your reels with your health journey, and so you mentioned that your husband's fear was that you're going to find a male personal trainer. So
Mhm.
was that all these shorts to show him that you are in among female all the time?
That's a good
I'm just
point. Yeah, no,
curious.
this is evidence, right? Like, see, look, these are the people I work out with. These are my trainers. These are my coaches. No,
Correct.
no, that was definitely not intentional. But that's a good one, though.
Oh, no, I was just curious because seeing that would definitely put him at ease, because and then
True.
you're showing your progress, and your progress has
Yes,
been amazing, by the way. You look amazing, by the way, from last
thank
time.
you.
Not that you
Thank
didn't look good the last time we saw you, and by the way, I am a personal trainer too, so don't bash male personal trainers.
Yes, not bashing, not bashing them.
Oh my God. No, I just thought I'd throw that out there because me and
That's
Mina's been
funny.
following you, and because of
Thank
you,
you.
we bought a Pilates reformer. So we're gonna ask for some exercises once we get it.
Oh, I love that. And I love the machine so much. So yeah,
Oh
it's
my
been
gosh. But moving forward, like I said, for the new year, for a lot of us, if you're blessed to have a great relationship, then perfect. But
Mhm.
not everyone has the perfect relationship. And I think there's always room for improvement, right? Because like I
Yeah,
said, not everyone's always sharing what's going
no.
on in the inner mosaic, right? We may
Mhm.
be listening to
Yeah.
ourselves, but we still have to share with our partner. Um, when it comes down to relationships, like how important do you think that couples need to change their mind shift, mind shift, mind
Said that.
shift. They need to change their mind shift, and you call it the marriage mind shift
Yeah.
process. How do they need to change that mind shift so they can rebuild better connection? Because I honestly believe when you first meet someone, when you're first dating them, there's that magic, that attraction, right?
Yeah.
Like that spark. And I find when me and I see a lot of couples is like they lose that spark. They don't remember what that spark is.
Yes.
Right. So when it comes to the mind shift, like how do you get people to rebuild that connection that's lost over time?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna back it up a little and then get to your
Yeah.
question, like how do you build that mind shift and make sure that like that love is sustained over time. But I one, we were talking about Inner Mosaic, so that's definitely one of the tools I use to help people shift their mindsets and the things that their internal dialogue that's creating more chaos in their relationship than connection.
Hmm.
And I like to say that we all enter into relationships, or just in general, like we walk through life with a set of beliefs. And these beliefs are the lenses that kind of we're looking through when we're
Hmm.
experiencing life. In a relationship, when we first start it, like you said, we get into the relationship and we're excited, we're in love, we're passionate. We tend to not see the faults in the other person
Correct.
because we have a rose colored lens on at that moment and we just only want to see the good because we want to love and be loved. And then over time, that rose color lens fades and it comes
Hmm.
off. And then we start to see the imperfections of the person that we're in a relationship with, right? We see the quirks and the nuances, that the things that irritate us, right? All the things that show up. But I believe that it's not just those little things, right? It's not just
Hmm.
the rose colored glasses. It's not just the idiosyncrasies of our lives that intertwine and we get annoyed with each other. It actually stems from our deeper seated beliefs about relationships. So I think that our belief system and our subconscious beliefs, it could be conscious, but most of the time
Hmm.
it's subconscious, will create the self-fulfilling prophecy, almost like the relationship that we believe that people have or that
Hmm.
we deserve. So I think I've shared this in our last episode or one of the other shows that we've done
Hmm.
together, but that, I had a belief that men lie and men leave. And I
Hmm.
didn't know I had that belief
Correct.
until I got into the relationship with my husband. Well, my previous relationship, they left me, right? So
Hmm.
that was like, okay, then I knew I was I started learning, like I got more codependent at that point. I started getting scared of people like abandoning me and leaving me. And I started putting the pieces together, but it wasn't until my husband and I found ourselves on the brink of divorce that I began to realize the really deep beliefs that I had about men and
Hmm.
about relationships, right? Because I didn't have not any, but I didn't have a lot of healthy relationships to look up to and be a model for me.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so most of the relationships in our family, a very matriarchal family,
Hmm.
don't end well.
Correct.
And so I'm like, okay, all the women are very strong and empowered,
Hmm.
and they end up getting a divorce to the
Correct.
husbands had.
Correct.
And also, right, like my just in general, the experiences I've had with my own father and my uncle, who was my second father figure, of, them moving out of my life. So when we're talking about like building this healthier, happier marriage from within, it really starts with checking our belief system and understanding that we have these internal, like, subconscious dialogues that are going on that not control. Yeah, I guess it's control, but that influence the way we react, influence the way we show up in our relationships. And that's what's actually creating more chaos in our marriage than our spouse. Like, you can say, oh, this is what he does that irritates me, or this is what she's not doing that annoys me. But in reality, we're just seeking validation for the belief systems that we've had for such a long time. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It's funny you talk about strong women in your family, and my family's all like that. My mom, my sister, it's all dysfunctional. Maybe that's the way I turned out the way I am to try to have a decent relationship with Minna. But I totally hear what you say. But it really sounds like the Inner Mosaic really helps you start finding all those limiting beliefs that are embedded in you as you're growing up. Because like you said, you see it on your grandparents, your mother, even the way your father is, and so on and so forth. And those beliefs start being ingrained in you.
Yes.
And then when things start happening, just say maybe your husband comes home late one day, now you start thinking, self-fulfilling prophecy that those limiting beliefs are coming out, right? Like, is that sort of what you mean? Like, I'm just trying to get a grasp of it.
Thank you for asking the questions. So I just to like tie in the Inner Mosaic and our belief systems, I feel like, how's the best way to put this? So Inner Mosaic, the way that it works in a relationship that's really helpful is, most people believe they have a communication problem between them and their spouse. But the communication problem actually is within themselves. They don't know how they feel. They don't know what's really going on. They don't know what's causing them to be so upset over something so minor that their spouse did, right? Like, you didn't pick up the sock from the floor, and that means you disrespect me, and that means you don't care, and that's like the 100th time you left it there, and that means you want me to do it, right? Like, we can create all this meaning to different things, but until we actually take a look at our internal belief system, our internal dialogue, and have that moment with ourselves, you won't be able to articulate that to your spouse, right? You won't be able to say, or my husband has done his own Inner Mosaic work without me even teaching him about Inner Mosaic, because he was resistant to that for so long. But the fact that he was able to articulate his fear of me finding a male personal trainer and then leaving him for that personal trainer meant that he did his own internal work to be able to articulate that fear. Because a lot of the times what it shows up as in other relationships, because I've seen this in other relationships with other couples, is it's just, no, like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you with other men. Like, I don't want you to be hanging out with, like, all they're going to do is hit on you, and all they're going to do is, like, that is the same message essentially, but delivered a lot differently. Right? It's this anger and kind of like possessiveness versus coming from a vulnerable place of fear and saying, well, I'm just afraid that you're going to leave me.
Correct.
Because you're going to get fit and in shape, and like, people are going to hit on you more, and you're going to like that, and you're going to go, right? There's someone definitely better looking than me, and there's someone definitely more whatever. And so that's evidence that he's able to have an internal dialogue with himself, and that younger version of himself that is scared of being left, being abandoned.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure with this conversation, you're scaring a lot of the men out there trying to rethink why the women are going out to these boutique fitness places to work out. Is it really just a
I'm
women
sure
movement?
they've already had that thought. I'm not the one putting the, the thought
No,
in
but
their
it's
head.
great. It's great because I think this, like a lot of people say, oh, this show is great for women. But I think a lot of the men can learn from the lessons from all the speeches, even from like marriage coach from you, because most men think, well, we got it. We let our ego become our ego, and we think we can solve everything, right? And we hide everything, and I think that's the biggest problem. But sometimes it's good, like you said, for your husband to show some vulnerability, and for guys,
Yeah.
it's hard to show that vulnerability. That is actually really doing some serious internal work to do some vulnerability. So no, thank you for sharing that, because I just don't want people thinking that, oh, only women can do inner work. Guys, that's just not manly.
Yeah, no, and it really shows. It also is evident that when we do the work, like whoever wants to see change in the relationship, when one person does the work in service of the relationship, it can improve both partners' lives. In no way, shape, or form did I formally train my husband in Inner Mosaic, but
Correct.
all I did was I modeled it. I was vulnerable in different moments. I shared the fear-based thinking. I shared the belief systems that I've had that were causing chaos in our relationship, right? And over time, he felt safe enough to do the same. So
I love
it can
that.
start with any partner. It doesn't have to be both parties. And that's a mindset shift I want you to have here, like those watching, is that you don't like what I had like two thoughts that like came in at the same time. So then I was like, which thought do I want to say? But anyways, I want people to understand that our partner is a reflection of our belief system, and that they don't need to be on board. They don't need to like do the work for things to change. And these are mindset shifts to understand and to really embrace. If you want to see change in your relationship, you need to understand that you can be the change agent.
Correct.
Right? This is how you create a happier, healthier marriage from within. You shift your belief about relationships.
Correct.
And these are some of the new ones that you can embrace and embody, that I can be the change agent, right? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I love it. So I'm just trying to reframe it in my head. So the change starts with you, as opposed to the change starting from your husband not picking up her socks. And by the way, we may not just see those socks. It's not because we disrespect you. Just saying.
Yeah, no, it really, if any, I think any and all change in our lives starts within ourselves. No matter,
I love that.
like, even if we're talking about global issues, right? The change begins here at home. Like, what can we do to be the change we want to see in the world, right? Like, I can quote Gandhi on that. But it really is, that's very wise counsel, even for relationships.
Correct. That is so upper level, quoting Gandhi. Okay, just saying. No, that's great. Well, we're gonna take another short break, and when we come back, we're gonna dive into the solutions to help you get more results for a happier marriage. So we're gonna start seeing some examples. I'd love to hear some examples. We'll be right back.
Attentive to what you tune into, attentive to love and curiosity, interest and enthusiasm. Passion is love. And when we talk about love, it's love of self, love of others, love of God, love of the process. Passion is that place, that sweet spot where we are living intentionally, we are living attentively.
Welcome back to Chronic Health Collective. So, oh my God, you got me thinking so much over the last two segments there, Samantha. Is like I'm gonna have to work on my inner feelings but moving forward into our third section, we just had Thanksgiving, we just had Christmas, we just had New Year's, and we got Lunar New Year coming up. Like it's almost like one holiday after another holiday and after a holiday. And I think a lot of people think holidays are great, but holidays are actually quite stressful.
Yes.
Right. And I think that for a lot of families, a lot of crap happens during the holidays. Like you may put a happy face. Like that's how my parents were always. Like when we had like a party, everyone's coming over and everyone thought that my mom and dad got along, but like when everyone's gone, things being thrown around the house because they put up that face.
Yeah.
So with all the stress that happened over the holidays, I don't think it just like magically disappear. So what steps do you think couples can actually take to try to start resolving all this built up stress over these last 2-3 months?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that people can really de-stress and get back to a good place in their relationship, but I think there are some things that are really foundational, and it might sound a little overdone or a little like whatever, but I want to say, and like there's a tried and true, I don't know, tool that we can all use, which is gratitude.
Okay.
And I've learned that, I mean, even in my friend just texted me this morning because I was so last week I had read a book. I wonder if I have it near me. Yes, I do. I have it. I was reading the book called The Go-Giver. It's this book, and it's a short parable about success, and I love to apply it to our relationships as well. And the very fifth law of success, of stratospheric success, is in order to be a good giver, you must be open to receiving. And I shared this with everyone and my friends. And so my friend texted me this morning and she said, oh, I'm like losing the person she quoted. But anyways, one of the personal development gurus out there. Oh, I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Dr. Joe Dispenza said that gratitude is the number one way to stay open to receiving. And in our relationships and in love and in life, like I've seen so many couples get to this place where they feel like they just give, and they're tired of their partner not putting in the same amount of work or effort or energy into the relationship. And what I have found is that it correlates very like parallel. When the more they feel the resentment toward their spouse, the more they are getting upset with them for not returning the favor or taking care of them in return, you will see a depletion of gratitude. So the increase of resentment is corresponding to the decrease of gratitude in the relationship. And so I think the number one thing that saved my marriage, time and time again, it's not just once, but it's over and over and over again, was going back to gratitude. Finding gratitude in the moments that you don't think there's anything to be grateful for. Finding, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that. And from a guy's perspective, remember, you got
Okay.
me this time, not minutes.
Yes,
So
I know this is perfect.
I'm throwing you the fast hard balls, okay? From a guy's perspective, how do we show the women we are grateful for what they do without actually saying it? Because like you said, it's sort of like, oh well, maybe she cooks, like, depending on who's better, like, Nin is an awesome cook in certain things, I'm a great cook in other things, or we have certain chores that we like to do, and because we're just better at it,
Mhm.
right? And I think, secretly we're very grateful, right,
Yeah.
for each of those things, but we don't tell each other about it, right? And then, like, sometimes, for instance, I'm just going to throw an example. Sometimes I'll say, well, why didn't she get that done yet, in my head,
Mhm.
right? So how do you get that point across, to have that discussion, to make sure that your partner, whoever it may be, is actually grateful for the time, the effort, the things you do, maybe taking care of the children, or it may be, right? It's just like, we're not just taking it for granted. It just means we may not necessarily show. And once again, it's maybe that's not all men, right? I'm sure women do the
No.
same thing too,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
right?
not gender
So
specific for
how
sure.
how would you start a conversation for something like that, right? Because it's like the last thing you want is like, well, you're never grateful for this, and well, in fact, I am.
Yeah. And it really is about having like this active role of gratitude in your relationship.
Mhm.
One of my mentors taught me the difference between generative gratitude and, right, like just in response to it, right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, I'm grateful that you cooked dinner. Oh, I'm grateful that you did this, but only after the act is over,
Sure. Yes.
right? Like a very responsive gratitude
Mhm.
versus this generative gratitude. And the gratitude I'm talking about is being able to cultivate that feeling of gratitude no matter what is
Mm.
happening. And if you can do that and ooze that,
Correct.
it will be seen and felt in the relationship. But to answer your question
Mhm.
more practically,
Correct.
every day I we as a family thank whoever cooked or bought or provided dinner
Mhm.
every day.
Mhm.
It's thank you for dinner, thank you for making dinner, and we all say it
Mhm.
and we don't take it for granted. Like,
Correct.
speaking our thankfulness and our gratitude out loud is something that must not be taken for granted, because it's in those moments, that appreciation, that we will build the relationship even deeper, right? Like,
Mhm.
it might be like, well, why do I have to say thank you for making dinner every night?
Correct.
You know, it's that's their job, or that's what they do, or that's what they're good at. Like,
Mhm.
they know I'm grateful for it because I'm eating it and I'm enjoying it. I say, "Oh, this is good." No, but we cannot assume that
Mhm.
they know we're grateful. So it's really being intentional about the gratitude we have
Mhm.
and sharing that with one another. So it's just having a simple conversation of, and you can start it. It doesn't have to be like this formal conversation. Oh, we need to say more gratitudes to each other
Correct.
because Sam said so and it's going to help our marriage. No, just start engaging in more gratitude, saying thank you for something that maybe
Mhm.
you don't normally say thank you for. Oh, thanks for taking out the trash. Thanks for,
Mhm.
vacuuming today. Thanks for folding my laundry
Correct.
or washing whatever, the car. And
Mhm.
it's having this, it's a practice. Just like any other spiritual practice we can have, meditation,
Mhm.
journaling, right? Mindfulness, gratitude is a practice, and it's
Mhm.
not a one and done thing. It's not thank you and now you should know I'm forever thankful for it, right?
Correct.
It's wash, rinse, repeat. It
Correct.
is something that it's a maintenance practice. Yeah.
I think that's very important, on a standpoint for, relationship reinforcement too, right? Because it's funny, because, like, when you first, are dating, you speak your mind. Oh, I love you so much. I love how you did this. Thank you for this gift, right? But as you get into a relationship, you forget the gifts, and I'm guilty for that. Like in the beginning, always anniversary, bang, bang, bang. You're doing all the way out to have this elaborate gift, and once you get
Right.
married for a while, it's like, I'm just gonna treat you for dinner. You know,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I hope other couples are doing that. It's not just me.
No, us too.
But what are other subtle ways that you can show gratitude? Because I really believe gratitude is very important. The showing that your partner, that you love them, that you're grateful for everything they do. What are some subtle ways that, not only are you being grateful for everything that's happening in your life, but grateful for everything that you have together as a couple too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, subtle. I don't know about subtle ways, but I
Mhm,
think like if we talk about subtle ways, you can
mhm,
look at love languages and you can understand their love language and your love language and how we love to receive it and how we love to give love. But
mhm,
those are definitely things that you can look into and do, like acts of service, words of affirmation,
mhm,
quality time, right? All those different types of ways to show and receive love. But I think the most unconventional, like less spoken of, like, so something that's less common that we don't associate with gratitude is our attention. Giving
mm,
someone your undivided attention and truly listening to what they have to say, what's going on in their life, being
mhm.
present is one of the most overlooked, underrated ways to show gratitude, to show someone that you appreciate them.
Oh my gosh. That is so huge because like me and Minna, we love people watching, right?
Yes, that's always fun. I
I
love
hope people don't catch us people watching when we're out, right? We'll be on a date, we're eating, we're just people watching.
right.
And it's funny because like and I hate to talk about certain generations, but we know is that the younger generations, there'll
Mhm.
be like a couple, they're having a date, but it's almost like I swear they're talking to each other through their phone, through
Yes.
texting. Like there's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
conversation. They're actually
yeah,
like just flipping through there.
yeah.
And like you said, that is really not giving them attention. They may think they are,
Mhm.
right? But then, like, at least when we used to date, we didn't have cell phones. When you sit down and talk, you sit down and talk, right?
Yeah, that was your entertainment, the person across the table. Yes.
Exactly.
Or people
Exactly.
watching together and then talking about the people, but yes.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you this, because like through the holidays, a lot of couples will put the front to pretend everything is going okay,
Mhm.
right? But there are couples literally on the brink of giving up.
Mhm.
What is one resource or strategy that they can use immediately to start creating back some hope? Because you mentioned you saved your marriage twice,
Yes, yes.
right? So I'm sure there are a lot of people that's trying to save their marriage first time, let alone twice.
Yeah.
Like, what is a good strategy or resource that you can give to give them some hope that this is all over?
Yeah. Okay. The strategy won't necessarily give you hope, but so I'll answer that in two parts. The
Okay.
strategy, the instant strategy that you can use is something I always teach my clients,
Mhm.
and it's called HALT. Hungry,
Oh,
angry, lonely, or tired.
okay.
Got it? Okay, so
Mhm.
HALT.
Hungry,
HALT. Hungry,
angry,
angry,
lonely,
lonely,
or tired. Okay.
tired. If you're any of those things and you're aggravated or you or the other person are about to get into an argument or have started an argument, if
Mhm.
either of you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you halt.
Wow.
You're not allowed to talk about whatever you're upset about. It's a
That
pause.
that wow, the first part, that is amazing because most people are at least two of those things at any one time during the day.
Exactly. So it's like, how do we have this conversation? You're like, well, you have to wait till you're calm.
Correct. Okay, I love that. Okay, that's a
Okay.
great strategy. I love that.
So
I
that's
learned something new today.
the instant tool that I want to give you.
Mhm.
Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, halt the conversation, wait till you've calmed down, you're no longer angry, go to bed if you're tired, eat some food if you were hungry.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lonely, like find a way to feel connected either with that person or someone else. Like
Mm-hmm.
just find like cuddle your
Just not
dog
your personal trainer.
or your cat. Yeah. Connect with someone healthy in your life that, you know, in a way, the goal is to connect with the person that you're with, right? That you're having this argument with, is find another way to connect. You can laugh about something, find some commonality with them, and then circle back to this point of, you know, conversation that you're wanting to discuss. But that is an amazing tool that I use with all my clients. And then to instill hope, I feel like the best thing for you to do is to talk to other couples, talk to even just like look for some of my videos, look for other people out there who are teaching what I teach or similar things to what I do, because we are walking examples of hope. We are the people that have lived the life, been through the fire, and have come out the other side. Like, just go watch some of our videos. Like, that's the fastest way to really reignite the hope that it's possible, right? We've had really dark days, dark nights of our souls, and we've come out the other side. So just knowing that, I hope that instills a little bit more hope. Rewatch this episode. That's another one.
No, I agree, you know, because I think that's where a lot of people, you know, that's where inspiration comes, to see that it is possible, because there's always someone that's in a crappier situation than they are in, right?
Yes. Yeah. So again, find gratitude. And that can also give you hope. Like, you know that you're not in the worst situation in the world, that there's always someone out there that is in more poverty, more heartache, right? More disaster than we are. And like, because if we're watching this and if we have the resources to be even learning this information, we are in many ways privileged. So just connecting back to that, connecting back to gratitude, and knowing that other people have been through the same fire you're in right now and can help you to the other side.
Perfect. No, I think there's so many things that every couple, every person, regardless of a couple, have learned today. I love to end with a quirky question, because me and Minna are the foolish couple after all. So if your Inner Mosaic method could be turned into a romantic comedy movie, what would that title be, and who would be the lead characters?
Oh my goodness. Okay, you're gonna like there's so many romantic comedy movies that it could. And okay, romantic comedy. I feel like there's one that I'm trying to think of that I can't think of the title, but like,
you can make up your own title. We don't need to use one.
It's not like a.
No. You can create your own movie.
We're making up our own movie.
Yeah, making it a movie, but who would be the starring roles for that movie?
You're also making me try to remember actors' names. Okay, the title of the movie, for my Inner Mosaic model would be, I really want to think of like an actual movie, because it would be like Love Actually would be a great movie.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like one of those, like, I can't think of the title right now, but one of those hot mess love comedies that like everything's a disaster. And everything's connected to everything, and you know, your best friend is now dating your daughter. What movie was that? Okay, anyways, and the starring role, one of my favorite actors, I have a lot of, I like Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
He's comedy / like serious. And then who would be the woman? I'm only saying this because she's the person that popped in my head, but like Anne Hathaway.
Oh, okay. I love them both. No, Mark Wahlberg, Anne Hathaway. That would be a very funny movie. I don't think they actually ever done one together. So that
I know.
might be
so
one,
even more so, I'm like, I wonder why I thought of that.
Maybe
but
we're throwing out a universe and they can get it out there. That is amazing. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in on this episode of the Chronic Health Collective. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who can benefit from Samantha Kaaua's incredible insights on building healthier, happier relationships. Visit us at chronichealthcollective.com to make sure to grab our monthly magazine packed with expert advice from our 13 amazing life coaches. And while you're there, set up your first discovery call with the coach who you resonate with, where you're having challenges with. Next week, we are thrilled to welcome Amanda Johnson, and make sure to join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. CST for more tips to up-level every aspect of your life. And if you missed that episode, catch us anytime at watch.e360tv.com on the Vitality Network, or of course on our YouTube channel at Chronic Health Collective. Until next time, we'll see you and hope everyone's living a chronically healthy life. Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you, Andy. See you soon.
We'll see you soon. Bye now.